Welcome back. We're installing another set of badass fog lights, this time for a 2017 and 2019 Honda Civic Hatchback. And we're going to be replacing the OEM lights with a set of our own fog lights, which are very similar to the OEM, but ours are going to be a lot cheaper for you guys. It is a bit of a process, so let's get started. Our installation starts in the hood, where we need to remove some of the OEM plastic guards, starting with this plastic trim in the hood. It has 9 clips that need to be removed. Make quick work of the clips with a tool. After that, the plastic guard should slide on out. Next, we need to take off this OEM protective strip. There are several clips to remove on each side and in the middle. We'll leave a couple of clips in place to help hold the bumper up until we're ready to take it off. There are also 2 tabs to pop off the tool on each side. With the OEM strip now hanging loose, we can head under the car. We're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver, a socket wrench, and a picking tool for the next part. We'll need to start in the wheel well with these 2 screws on each side. Go ahead and remove these tiny screws, then we can move further under the car, where you'll find another 2 screws on each side to remove, as well as some additional clips and even some more screws. Make quick work of them all with the tools. Starting with the 2 screws in the wheel well, repeat this process on the other side. The only thing holding the bumper on now are the clips we haven't removed yet and some inner tabs behind the sides. We'll start from these sides to remove the bumper. Carefully pull to loosen each. A tool can come in handy here, and both sides will eventually pop off with a bit of force. Now we can finally remove these clips, the last points holding the bumper on. An extra hand is helpful here as you slowly remove the clips. Before we remove the bumper, if you already have fog lights, you'll want to disconnect the wiring harness on each. Go ahead and carefully pull the bumper off. Now we're heading to the workbench to prepare our bumper. We'll be replacing these OEM bezel covers. Each of them is mounted by a series of tabs around the sides on each. Use a tool to quickly release the tab by softly pushing on each as shown. Use your other hand to push the bezel cover out as you are releasing the tabs. And in short order, you'll be able to push the OEM cover out. If your car has any kind of fog lights already installed, they'll need to be removed by unscrewing the 3 mounting points. Remove the bezel covers and fog lights, and you'll be ready to install your new upgrades. Each is labeled top and with a right or left letter on the back to make sure they are aligned correctly. It's time to mount these bad boys on your front bumper. There are 3 screws on each. Your new bezel covers also feature a right or left letter for the right alignment. There are a series of clips on each, and you just need to snap them back into place as shown. Take your time, make sure they never come off. Repeat the same process on the other side. And our front bumper is ready, and we can head back to the car. Let's talk about the included wiring bundle for a moment. We have the main bundle, the extension wire, the switch wiring, the switch unit itself, and the wire tapping tool. Taking a closer look at the main bundle, we have the 2 yellow direct connectors for the fog lights. These just plug straight in the back as shown. With the 2 connectors plugged in, what we have left is a set of positive and negative wires and an extension wire. Now this black wire serves as a ground wire and can actually be secured to any metal screw on the chassis of the vehicle. The red wire is hooked up directly to the battery's positive terminal. The yellow wire will be plugged into the red extension wire to allow it to reach the interior of the vehicle. Connected into the switch wiring bundle. With the wiring fully extended, the area of the yellow and black wiring will be in the engine bay, whereas the red part of the wire will be in the interior of the vehicle. In the interior, the switch wiring bundle includes this 1 green connector, 1 red skinny wire, and 1 black skinny wire. The green connector connects into our switch unit. The red wire will connect to the accessory power source. We recommend a cigarette lighter or the windshield wiper. The black wire connects to any exposed metal screw in the chassis, which will likely be under your dashboard. We've also included a wire tapping tool to connect into the existing accessory power wire. The last part of the wire is the fuse and the relay. Nothing needs to be handled on these pieces other than securing them cleanly to the inside of the engine area. And that wraps up the entire included wiring setup for the Honda Civic. We're now ready to install this wiring onto the car. We start with our direct connectors for the fog lights. We'll be laying out the black wire harness to reach both fog lights, which involves running it up into the engine bay. Slide the harness through the bracket to go across the grille. Our first direct connector is now in place, and it's a good time to grab a zip tie to clean up the wiring here. Snip off the tail and continue laying the black wire harness to the other side. We won't be reaching the other fog light just yet, instead we run it up through this slot into the engine bay as shown. The next part of the wire is the relay and the fuse. Nothing needs to be done here yet, later we'll clean it up with the rest of the wiring. Moving on, we can now drop our other direct connector into position for the other fog light. Both direct connectors are now in position, and we can now connect the black ground wire to this exposed bolt right next to the fuse box in the engine bay, and the red positive wire to the battery's positive terminal. The last part of the wire, the yellow connector, can now be run into the interior of the car. Shimmy it under this foam padding. Pull the wire all the way through, and we can then drop it down into the wheel well from this slot as shown. Once the wire is down there, you can carefully shimmy it through the OEM protective pieces and padding. It'll pop out on the other side of the driver's side door hinge. We then need to locate this exact spot where you'll find a little 1-inch opening to run the wire cleanly into the car's interior. Next, grab any random long and sturdy piece of wire. It'll really help with the next part, because we need to get the yellow connector through the hole. Pull the random wire through from the driver's side, and use some electrical tape to tightly bind it to the yellow connector. Now it's easy as to just pull the yellow connector through with the rest of the wire. Remove the electrical tape and we can get to work on the driver's side dash. Pull out this OEM panel to reveal the spot for the new switch button unit. Pop out one of the covers and replace it with a new one. It'll just snap and click into place. Keep in mind there might be other connections to detach and reconnect as well. Now we can grab the last part of our wiring bundle. Go ahead and connect the green connector directly into the new switch button. And then we can finally connect the yellow wires together as shown. Next is our ground wire, and there's a sneaky little spot behind the hood release where we connect it to this exposed bolt. The last part of the wire is the red power wire that will be run up directly behind the dash. Just above the ground wire connection, you'll find the interior fuse box where we can hook in the red wire to an accessory power source. Another option is to separately purchase this piggy wire fuse adapter from any auto parts store. Once these last wires are connected, we can hide the wiring bundle in the dash and push this OEM panel back into place with a bit of force. Our work here is now done, and the new switch unit should be lighting up. Now before we reattach the front bumper, be sure to connect both of your new fog lights. Then really take your time reattaching and aligning the front bumper. Again, an extra hand is really helpful here. As we saw when we removed the bumper, make sure the sides are tightly locked back in. To completely lock in the front bumper, reattach and clip in the OEM protective strip. Finalize your alignment on the sides of the bumper. Now's a good time to clean up all the wiring before we drop the hood. And move on to reattaching the last OEM parts on the underside of the car. Screw, clip and bolt back in the rest of the mounting points. And your new upgraded fog lights will be finished and looking sleek in their new home on your Honda Civic. Congratulations, you've just punched up the lighting on your Honda Civic Hatchback. And we are done. Congratulations, you've just added a punch of light to your Honda Civic Hatchback. Now take your time with this, with the wiring, replacing out the fog lights and the bezel covers. Make sure you do it only once, learn a whole lot. I'll see you next time.